Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where I thought about this problem for like 5 seconds and then realized I was overthinking it. So what we can do is we can rotate this just as if it is a straight line for right now. And then we'll deal with the junction direction in just a moment. So we know that this is a junction, so we need to grab our neighbors. So essentially what we need to do is we need to grab all of this here. Well, all of this here. And just copy this right in, right here. Now I'm going to rename this from bend position to, and I'm going to call this straight pose A. And apply that. And I'm going to rename this to no. Apparently I can't type at all. Straight position B. Okay, I'm going to add the GH in up here as well. So, GHT. Excellent. So if our straight position is there, and then rather than doing a square magnitude check of this, then we need to be doing is greater than or equal to 0.01f, because that's our straight distance, correct? Yes, greater than 0.01f. Actually, not even equal to, just greater than. Okay. So we now know our straight positions, and rather than getting corner rotation, let's get straight rotation, and that should get us about halfway there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the building road junction again. I'm not going to delete it this time because we're going to need it back. We're not completely done with this yet. We're going to have to run a couple more checks. Well, one-ish more check. And then we're going to have to do some inversion of the scaling, but it'll be fine. So, as you can see right here, this is correct-ish. Also, that's still wrong. Okay, let's take a quick look at that first. The road intersection Y, right here. This is wrong. So let's try to see why that's wrong, shall we? Let's pop this open. Road intersection Y. We know this is a Y intersection. Okay, so the unconnected one that it looks at is going to be this one, right? So approximately equal. Z is greater than, so it would return 0. But it returned negative 60. Why would it return negative 60? Because it should be 0. So, what are we modifying it with here? So we know that this is a Y intersection. If approximately equal these here, so 180, 0, 60, 120, 240, 300. Where are we modifying this at? I'm going to go ahead and do a debug.log. And this is going to be subhexes i.gameObject.name plus is a, actually I'm just going to go, is a Y intersection with a rot of plus rot. Okay. Let's see if we can track that one down. I'm not sure why that returned negative 60. As far as I can tell, that shouldn't be happening. But let's take a quick look here. So let's get a Y intersection here. Yeah, see, here you can see that the straight line is correct on both of these, in fact, on all of these, but that the junction is not correct. Okay, so let's find ourselves a Y intersection. Here it is, with a rot of 300. So let's go ahead and go to that. Road intersection Y. Negative 60. Okay, so 300 is still incorrect. So I think this needs to be 300. This needs to be 240. And I think it's giving us negative 60 because that's just the conversion for 300 going into the quaternion. So I think that is okay. We'll have to keep an eye on those y intersections. Like, for example, this one. So that's 240. Oh boy. Okay, that's the one we just changed. That's kind of disgusting. Okay, three-way intersection without neighbors. Okay, this is actually just a merged road. No Y there. No Y there. Here's a Y. 240 degrees. And it should, of course, be 0 degrees. So I think one thing that we can do is we can say, let's just take a quick look here at our Y intersection. So we're coming in up here. So it should clearly be at a rotation of 180. So we're coming in up top. If other position.z is less than our position.z, it should be 0. No. Yes, it should be 0. Otherwise, it should be 180. Because if we're coming in from the top, and we're otherwise approximately equal, it should be 180. Okay. Else, we'll leave that the way it's at for right now. Let's see if that fixes anything. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Okay, so we have no Y there. Here we have a Y intersection, which appears to be incorrect again. It's returning a rod of 240. So, question is, should it have? I mean, obviously it shouldn't. It should be returning this guy as the first one, I think. Ish. But it shouldn't really matter. So, a position of 240 is clearly incorrect. I guess let's flip these back. 240, 300. We'll see if that works. I don't want to be on this hex, actually. We'll try this one. Okay, we don't have a Y here. We have a merged road here, which is correct. Okay, we have an intersection, but we haven't done the junction here yet. No Y here. We haven't done this junction yet. Same with all of these junctions. No Ys, though. Same with all of those. Blah, blah, blah. Edge tile. Okay, here's a Y intersection, and that's correct. But here's a Y intersection that's incorrect. This is 180 degrees, and it needs to be 0 degrees. So map hex 4 is returning 180 degrees because Z is less than. Yeah, that's... Okay, I think we need to just completely rewrite this. So we need to say, if we're approximately equal, then this is fine. If other position.z is less than our position.z, then we need to be at 0, otherwise we need to be at 180. And then if other position.x is less than our position.x, so if we're over on this side over here, if other position.z is here, then we need to be at 0. So if we're here, we need to be exactly where we're at right now. If we're here, we need to be at 180. That's the only directions we need, is 0 and 180. And then when we're on the other side, if we're here, we need to be at 0, and if we're here, we need to be at 180. So exactly the same thing, 0f, 180f. Okay. See if that works. I don't see why it would. But that should verify that we have it correct, theoretically, I think. Unless I'm thinking of it wrong. It's correct here. We're looking for more Y intersections. It's incorrect here. Map hex 72. Why is that wrong? Let's add in a little more info here. So a Y intersection with a rod of 0, a other position of plus other position plus and an our position of plus our position. Okay, so now we have all the information we could possibly want, theoretically, I think. It's right sometimes, and wrong other times. Okay, so we have no Y intersection there. Here's a Y intersection, and it's wrong. Other position of 37.1, 2.0, 51.5. Okay, this isn't actually helpful because it's only doing... Oh, lovely. Let's multiply this by, say, 100 so that we can actually see a little bit more, a few more decimal places. Okay, no Y there. Yeah, that's an E intersection actually. No Y's, no Y, no Y. Edge tile. Here we go, Y intersections. So these two are right, and this one is wrong. Which one is that? Let's find out. So let's get ourselves road intersection Y. We are on map hex 51 is the one that's wrong. Other position of 418.6. Okay, we need more decimal places, actually. But we can see here that actually the vertical ones appear to be working. It's the ones where we aren't... Well, actually... I just had an idea. Yeah, I just had an idea. So I know how to fix this. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this guy. Like so. And then I'm going to get rid of all of this here. And we are going to then iterate through. We're going to get rid of this here. We're going to iterate through for int I equal... Actually, we need to be int j equals 0. No. There we go. No, there we go. J is less than connected neighbors dot count j++. Okay, so if at this point approximately equal our position dot x and connected neighbors j dot transform dot position dot x. I know it's not super easy to type. And then 0.00005f. Okay, so if this neighbor is approximately equal, we can then get rid of all of this, although I'm going to go ahead and copy in this and get rid of that. Place this here, and I'm going to move this comment to calculate rotation right up here. Okay. So rather than other position.z, this will be connected neighbors j.transform.position.z. Okay, so now it'll only calculate this rotation based off of the top or the bottom. And then if we successfully do this, then we can just break out. There. So now it should, because it's guaranteed with a y, either way that you have it rotated is guaranteed to always come out either the top or the bottom. Just the way the geometry works. So I think that way we can guarantee that it has the correct rotation. And that's just a much better way of doing it. Okay, let's see if that works. It should work. There's no excuse. Okay, that worked. That worked. That worked. And that worked. Okay, so here we can see the two different variants. Actually, this is a E intersection here. But here we can see a downward facing Y. Here we can see an upward facing Y. It's working. Excellent. Okay, so now we can focus back. Ooh, that is actually kind of gorgeous. I like that. That looks pretty neat. So now we can focus back on our one-way junctions, like this one here. So we have them pointing correctly when they're straight, as of right now. So the next concept is we have them pointed here, and we're going to need to then make sure that they're correctly rotated and perhaps inverted. I'll show you what I mean. So if we go to our building road junction, disable our subhexes, re-enable our building road junction, like so, then we have the straight line here, right? So then we can determine, are we up or down? If we are up, then we can simply do something like that and then add in, say, well, I mean, if we're up or down, this is actually fine, because then we can just rotate this like so. We can rotate it 180 degrees based on whether our other position is up or down. So we know our straight position A and our straight position B. So let's grab our vector 3 bend position equals vector 3.0. And we're going to need to assign this. So down here, let's go ahead and say, let's see, we know our connected neighbors. So right here, let's go ahead and say, so J and K are our straight positions. So we need to know what index is the one that is not J or K. Because then we can say bend pose equals, and we'll call this connected neighbors not chosen index dot transform dot position. Okay, so how are we going to figure out the not chosen index? Well, we know for a fact that our connected neighbors dot count at this point is equal to 3, unless it's an edge. But we're already checking for that up here. So we know for a fact that unconnected hexes.count equals 3, which theoretically means that connected hexes.count also equals 3. But we can go ahead and check that. So and connected neighbors.count equals 3. Actually, is not equal to 3. So if either of those are not equal to 3, then it's probably an edge tile, and we'll deal with that later on. So we know for a fact that that JK are going to be 0, 1, or 2. They're going to be 2 of those. So I guess we can just simply say if J equals 0, actually if J is not equal to 0, and K is not equal to 0. I forgot my number here, my numeral. Let's go ahead and say int not chosen index equals -1 for now. So if J and K are not equal to 0, then not chosen index should be 0. If J is not equal to 1 and K is not equal to 1, then not chosen index should be 1. However, this can go ahead and be an else if. So else if, and then down here, if it's not 0 and it's not 1, then it has to be 2. So else not chosen index equals 2. So now we know our bend position as well as our 2 straight positions. So we can then say if our bend position dot x is approximately equal to, so approximately equal, bend position.x, and we'll go with subhexes I dot transform dot position dot x, and we'll go 0.00005f. So if our x position is approximately equal, then we know for a fact that our bend is one of these two hexes. And if that's the case, then we know that we are fine and we don't need to invert the scale. So we actually need a parenthesis here. There we go. So we can then say, if this is the case, then if bend pose.z is less than subhexes I dot transform dot position dot z. So if it's below, then we are actually correct here. However, it's not always going to be the case, because we're going this direction right now. But if we were going this direction, if we were up here and our bend position was down here, then it would be a different story. So this is going to be a little complicated still. So if we were here, hypothetically, and our bend position was above, then we can't get there. So we need to ensure that we're going this direction, or this direction, or this direction. We need to know what we're doing as far as our straight position. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of this, because this is going to be relatively complicated. So we need to know, first off, if our straight position is up and down. So if, and we'll go with straight position A, it actually doesn't matter. So if approximately equal, straight position A, and I'm going to go ahead and create a shortcut here. Vector 3, our position equals subhexes I dot transform dot position. There we go. Okay, so if approximately equal straight position A dot x and our position dot x, we'll go with 0.00005. If that's true, then we know that we're going this way. And then we need to say, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a comment here. We know we're going straight up and down. Which way is the bend? Okay. Else if, and then we're going to need something along the lines of, we know we're going, and for this one, oh my, I hit Control A instead of Control S. That's no good. That's no good at all. Okay, here we are. We know we're going, in this case, this way. We can actually base this to some degree off the rotation, right? So 0 and 180. Yeah, this is actually fine. So if rot.y equals 0 or rot.y equals 180, then we know that we are going this way. We know we're going left to right from top to down, or from top to bottom. We're going left, right, top, bottom. Okay. Else, we know we're going left. Actually, I'm just going to go bottom to top and get rid of this left to right nonsense. I think that's just more confusing than anything. We're always talking left to right here. So we're going from top to bottom, otherwise we're going from top to bottom, or from bottom to top. So with that being the case, then we need to know what direction we're going for our junction. So I'm going to go ahead and say which way is the bend for all of these, like so. I'm just going to copy that here and paste that here. Okay, So we know what direction we're going in our straight line, which ends up meaning if we're straight up and down, that would be 60 degrees right here. So I'm actually going to do this as I minimize everything again. I'm going to do the same thing up here. If rot.y equals 60f, or rot.y equals, and this would be 60 plus 180 would be 240f. That's just an easier way to do this. So we know that we're going straight up and down, or we know we're going this way, or we know we're going this way. So then we know that the bend can be one of 4 locations. And we're going to need to do this on kind of a case-by-case basis. So it is time for a cut. I'm going to go ahead and put one in here, and next episode, we'll figure out these case-by-case bases. See you all then.